What's going on, Bobby?
Man, we back in here again for one more. Ones on the twos. Hey, what we at today, man? Hey, welcome to the what?
The Trash Talk Countdown Show. Oh, ooh. Oh, sorry.
Hey, you ain't have to add that last part in there, man.
But sometimes you gotta bring some brand new flavor in the ear. Listen,
Not that brand new flavor in the air.
well, I'm just kicking new flavor in your ear. But listen,
Not that brand new flavor in
you're
your
not gonna let me get the last word, are you? You're not gonna
ear.
let me get the last word. Look, we talking
ah,
about y'all see that Canelo fight last night? Um Ooh, it was
ooh,
fun. Uh,
yeah.
Andy Ruiz fought last week. We're gonna talk about it. UFC 262. Um,
Man, disappointment.
oh yeah, so pretty much just erase all the excitement that we had last week,
I
and
have no excitement.
we'll talk about it. And then who's got next? Somebody said they've got this heavyweight title fight in the bag, but do they?
I don't know. I don't know. But before we get into the show, man, bruh, he quit. Look, man, hey, please like, share, comment. Put your comments in the comment section about what we talking about, the topics we talking about today. So we got 5 topics up there on the main line on your right side. And but we're going to get into our sponsor down at the bottom, man. We're affiliated with habits365.com. They having 365 days a year, great habits. You can get you some gear on habits365.com /trash talk BS for a 10% discount. And if you want your ad in the bottom right corner, all you got to do is hit us up at
My feet smell like butt at gmail.com.
hey, greatest email account. But let's get into the first part of the show, man. Bruh, he quit, dog.
Man, so uh, did you? So you're a hater. You're a hater. You're a
I'm a
hater.
hater to the
You're a
hating
hater.
can hate no more.
So let's just go on and put that out there. This fight was, it had a lot more on the line than what you gave it credit for. Billy Joe Saunders was one of his biggest tests. And Canelo went out there, first round, looked good. Second round, BJ picked it up. Third round, BJ picked it up. Fourth round, Canelo came on strong. It got a little dicey there, what, 5, 6?
It did. It did
And
get a little dice around 5.
Billy Joe Saunders started to put his hands down, started to look pretty. Canelo was getting kind of touched up more than you would like him to.
Yeah.
And we was like, huh, all right. And then Billy Joe Saunders started celebrating, like, you don't really hit hard, you little dude. Let me do something like this. And then what happened?
Yeah.
And then
Beep beep.
and then meat. And then just out of nowhere, Canelo said, whoop.
Got a
He
hit with that Mars Simpson, did he?
he didn't have to hit my man with that. And look, if you think it's an over exaggeration as to if you're looking at the screen, right? You're looking at this screen and you're going, there ain't no way in a boxing match that one of the best boxers in the world come from the ground up and hit that man in his eye that hard. Well, I'm here to show you this. He did.
Yo, hey, on that punch too, though. Joe Saunders was like leaning down. He was going down as Canelo was coming up with the punch. So seriously, he hit him dead in the eye. He hit him so hard that his eye immediately closed up. And the good thing about that hit right there, it was about at the end of the 6th round, I think. Was it the end of the
I think it was
sixth?
the seventh. I think it was the seventh.
End of the 7th round. It was at the end of the 7th round. So he walks back to his corner, and Canelo, you could just see like the tables turn, and then you see Canelo's whole demeanor just change, and he's just like, "Hey, I know I got this in the bag. We about to beat the hell out of this dude." Canelo was not. He was throwing. So Joe Saunders was throwing punches and bunches. Canelo was trying to knock him out from the get go. He was throwing hard shots pretty much the whole fight. And you just saw that he wasn't landing as well as he wanted it to. But this punch right here, he hit him right in the eye, woke him up. He saw the light.
Man, he said he was celebrating in Canelo's face. And then Canelo hit my man with the old Mars Simpson, right? So he Mars Simpson him. He hit him. Billy Joe Saunders backed up 2 steps back. And Canelo was like, nah, homie, what was all that you were saying? What you had said? Nah, go ahead. Nah, throw your hands up. Let's do this. And then he just celebrated while throwing nothing but hard shots and bungalows at
Hard
him.
shots. Yes.
And I'm just over here like, I ain't seen this part of Canelo. I don't know. He shouldn't have made Canelo mad or something because
Nah,
it's a
man.
wrap. And then
It
and
is.
then and then he didn't answer the bell. And then he didn't answer the bell. And it's one thing I wanted to talk about while we still got a little bit of time. And I know it said, bruh, he quit. But here's 2 things. Number one, he talks so much crap
He talked
that
a
by
lot of
not
crap, man.
answering the bell,
Yeah, it made it look bad.
it was you knew the internet was gonna get him.
Get
But
into him.
with that being said, I don't necessarily think that he quit as much as he was being saved. And I think there's a difference between quitting and being saved from further damage, kind of, sort of. So, like, what's his name? You remember we watched that bare knuckle fight, and the guy, he was a boxing champion.
Yeah.
He fought the co-main event. He didn't come out for the 5th.
Yeah.
Yeah, he quit. He was like, nah. You tonight, you got this. I'm not about to do that. I'm good. That was more of a quit. This one, I'm pretty sure, because Canelo said, he said, I felt his face crack on my fist. They went, nah, we can't send you out there like that, man. We can't do that. And so they start to fight. I don't think that's as much as quitting as much as like being saved. What do you think?
I feel like all the shit talking it made him look bad.
It made
I
him look
understand
bad,
what
yeah.
you're saying. They did cut his eye though, because I think it was swelling to the point where it was shut and he couldn't see. And if he did come out, he would have had no depth perception on his right side. So Canelo would just lay some hammers to the right side of his face. It'd have been nasty. That 8th round would have been nasty. He probably got knocked out within a minute. But this is why fighters should always respect each other when it comes down to the fight game. Because when you're on Twitter or when you're on social like Facebook or something, you can talk all that talk, but you ain't never, most of the time you ain't gonna see the person in real reality, so you might not have to back it up. In the fight game, when you talking that talk, you gonna see that individual in the ring and you gonna have to back it up. And if you go out like Joe Saunders went out, you gonna look like
They gonna get
the
you.
bad guy in the end, because he gonna get you.
And I think that warranted him being got so bad was because you do run that risk of, if you go down your Conor McGregor road of just complete talk, complete utter trash talk, that if it comes time to it and you don't perform, it's a wrap. And then look, and then they said it on on the broadcast too, but they didn't say it the way I was like, so you got what you wanted, and Canelo just beat you all around a 22-foot cage than a 18-foot boxing ring. Because it was the fight wasn't gonna get put together. He said, "Nah, man, I need a bigger one so I can move." So he just beat your ass all around a 22-foot ring instead of an 18-foot ring. I don't think this would have been any different.
No,
But
it wouldn't.
I
It probably would have been shorter if it was a smaller ring, because Canelo could have stayed closer to him a little bit longer within their exchanges. And I feel like the fight would have not lasted as long as it did. But Canelo did say that he predicted a 9th round victory KO. He just did a little earlier.
Yeah. So with that being said, this is boxing. So
Yo, one thing
Callum?
Before we
Hold
get into
on.
the next part of,
I'm not getting into the next part. This is
oh, okay, go
boxing.
ahead,
This is
go ahead.
boxing, right? So one thing, this is boxing. Canelo versus Callum Smith probably won't happen. Just put that out there. I just want to put that out there. It is the most obvious fight to make next. Probably won't happen. Just so you guys know. What you got?
I want to say this after watching all these boxing exhibitions between two individuals that shouldn't be in the ring, it was good to see a fight of this magnitude, especially with these two individuals in the ring for the belts, unifying the belts, and to actually see two boxers get in there and actually perform. This was a great match to watch. I enjoyed it thoroughly, and I like the fact that emotions took some kind of place in this fight, and overall the better guy came out on top. So I really enjoyed that about this fight. And that's the one thing I wanted to say, because in the next coming weeks or next coming months, we're going to talk about boxing in a different light, especially with some of these fights that are coming up pretty soon. The only thing that's coming up sooner rather than later is the Teofimo fight, but I just don't feel like his opponent is up to the caliber as these two individuals are
I don't
that
know.
fought last night. I'm just saying, I just don't feel like his opponent is up there to like these two fights right here. I think this right here could be something that boxing can hang their hats on, because this fight came through and the performance was great on both ends. All of a sudden, Canelo comes down and hits him with that Marge Simpson, and then Joe just doesn't come out for the bell. And it is what it is. I wish Joe a speedy recovery. Hopefully his career doesn't end because of this, but Canelo looks better and better every year.
And he trying to fight about 4 more times this year.
Hey, it is what it is.
What's going on next? We're going to stick with some more boxing in the next
Yeah, but
round.
before we get into the boxing, man, we got to talk about that logo right at the bottom of the right corner, man. Habits365.com/trash talk BS for a 10% discount. If you want your logo at the bottom of the right corner, because you know we got a 30-minute show, you can always hit us up at
My feet smell like butt at gmail.com.
hey, greatest email account ever made. What we got next, man?
So Andy Ruiz fought last week.
Hey man, hey, I didn't tune in to all the fight, man, but what I've heard was Andy Ruiz got his ass beat for like the first 5-6 rounds.
He didn't do too well for a little bit of that fight. And then even on top of that, yes, I agree that he won the fight. But there was nothing spectacular about the way he won the fight. And then I don't want to do the thing because, you know, I am an athlete and I'm famous in about 3 square miles of the city of Asheville. A lot of people know me, and that's about 37 people. But of those people that I'm famous for, because I am an athlete, they feel that commenting on my body figure is easy, right? I could just do that. Hey man, you getting fat. Okay, that's cool. You're getting fat too. Don't say that to me. Kind of sort of this. But we have to do it. I guess so. They trying to tell me that Andy Ruiz was in the best shape of his life. They made this out like my man was gonna come out there yoked. Wasn't the case. And
He
then,
still was in the best shape of his life though.
And then the only thing that we got for Ruiz going for us is that like he can really come back after he catch them hands. Like a real good Rocky story.
Yeah.
And are we as America, right? How about you? Do you feel the same way? Are we really rooting for Andy Ruiz, right? We are. We want to see him go back because he shocked the world.
Yes, he did.
He
made a lot of money.
He made a lot of money. He made some dumb decisions.
Not dumb, it's stupid.
Look, is that the quickest mama we made it?
Hell yeah.
Ever?
They said my man was bought cars, he was barbecuing, getting fat, eating. He won't doing nothing. He won't train at all. He made it.
Is this the fastest mama we made it ever?
Yeah.
in sports
Yeah,
history.
made millions.
He thought he was gonna go down and retire as the undisputed champion of the world or something. Like,
He
Mama,
thought
we
he
made it. It's
thought he
it.
did.
It don't get no better than this. Rematch. I ain't worried about a rematch. But like, I really want to see this dude get back to at least fight for it. At least go out
True.
there and give his best against some of these guys. Because if you look at, I got the heavyweight rankings pulled up here. You know, you got to look on two different ones. Anthony Joshua's the champ. Tyson Fury's the champ. What do you think Andy Ruiz is at on both of these rankings? I'll give you a hint. He's ranked the same.
He should be number 3.
5.
What?
Right? So, in number 1 contender in Tyson Fury, and this is for the ring heavyweight rankings, is Anthony Joshua. Number 2, Wilder. But number 3 is White, then Ruiz Jr. But we still rooting for this dude. We don't even care about number 3 and 4. And then you got Usyk, Joyce, Parker, Wilder, then Ruiz Jr. in the WBO. And we still rooting for this dude. I really want to see this dude do good.
It's a feel-good story, man. It's a feel-good. Andy is a feel-good story.
Does he? Before we move on, does he either A, get back to a title fight, or B, does he recapture any of those belts? They might get unified if the fight ever happens. But if they don't, does he either beat Tyson Fury, or does he beat Anthony Joshua, or does he even beat Deontay Wilder?
I feel like he gets another chance or another shot at the championship. I don't feel that he's going to win it again. I feel like he made the best of his moment when he won the championship for the first and last time. I think they're going to give him another fight because he won this last fight, and if he wins another one, they may give him another one next year sometime. But I don't feel like he wins. I don't feel like Tyson Fury. I don't feel like he has a puncher's chance against Tyson Fury. I think Tyson has a better skill set, better hands, does a little bit more movement, and this, that, and the other. And I feel like he can do some things that Andy can't do. And for the other title fight, Joshua, I just feel like Joshua has figured him out to the point where he understands, he knows what to do if he fights Andy again. Because that second fight was a blueprint to what he needed to do to beat Andy, and he needs to stay patient and watch out for the hands of Andy Ruiz, because he does hit hard and he does hit often. But for the most part, I feel like Andy does go back up there, but he makes a lot of money just off the simple fact he won the belt before, but he doesn't win the belt again. That's all I'm gonna say about that situation.
You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. Look, we ain't gonna stick around on Andy Ruiz too long. Let's get into some MMA, some of that MMA.
But before we get into some MMA, we gotta talk about that habits365.com/trash talk BS for a 10% discount. Go online, hit that link, get you a 10% discount. And if you want your logo at the bottom right corner, all you got to do is hit us up at
my feet smell like butt at gmail.com.
Hey, man, greatest email account ever made. UFC 262, man. Hey, man, how excited are you for UFC 262, man? I know you're very excited, man.
Oh, wait. This just in. Nate Diaz versus Leon Edwards has been moved to June. Please ask your question again.
So, Sean, how excited are you about UFC 262 now that you know that the Nate Diaz and the Leon Edwards fight has been canceled?
I'm just here so I don't get fined.
Yo, man. Hey, I was so excited because it was a title fight against Oliveira and Chandler. I feel like they were going to come out and perform. But that Nate Diaz versus Leon Edwards fight just tipped it over the top. It was icing on the cake, man. And then for it to get canceled, man, this card has now diminished to being like I might watch it. And then if I do watch it, and if I do watch it, and if I do watch it, I'm only watching the main event. That's it.
It is a fight night card is what this fight is. So you got the champ. Let me read this card off to you. We did it last week. If you missed it last week, go back, tune in, and just go to the part where I read this card off. And then I'm going to read it again. In the main event, we got Charles Oliveira versus Michael Chandler for the
Mm,
155 belt.
it's a
I'm
good fight.
not
Good
mad
fight.
at
Good
this
fight.
fight. I'm just
No,
mad at the
not.
card. In the
Yes.
co-main event, we got Tony Ferguson versus Beneil Dariush.
Trash. That is trash. This shouldn't even be a co-main event. This should be on the undercard. Tony Ferguson, and this is not anything to Dariush. It's not nothing to him because I feel like he's a good fighter, if not great fighter, on his way up the rankings of the lightweight. But Tony is, after he got his soul taken from him, he has not been the same fighter, and he's on a losing streak. And one thing, how is he ranked number 5 still? And why hasn't somebody
I
told
got
him
a question
quit?
about that. So he's ranked number 5 right now, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to look up his last loss. Was his last loss for the belt? It wasn't, was it? He lost again to
No.
Charles Oliveira.
Yeah.
Right. So he's number 5. Andy Ruiz, his last fight that he lost was Anthony Joshua, wasn't it?
To the champion. Yeah.
To the champ. But he just dropped all the way to number 5. Ferguson done lost twice. Still at number 5. Just don't make no sense. Doesn't make no sense.
No sense. The rankings in the MMA, I don't understand them sometimes.
They just be making them up. So then you got Tony Ferguson versus Beneil Dariush, co-main event.
Beneil gonna demolish this dude.
Jack Hermanson versus Edmund Shabazian.
I don't know who that is.
I'm telling you, that's going to be a good fight, but also I'm telling you, man, that's what I'm telling you. And then Caitlin Chu Kagan versus Vivian Arajal. Huh? Okay. Yeah. Shane Burgos versus Edson Barbosa. Gonna be a good fight, but on this card, it should be a like a live on ESPN type card, or it should be a fight night card.
We shouldn't pay no money for this fight. Seriously, we should not pay any money for this card. This card should be a free one. This should be a free one for us on ESPN on a Tuesday night. This shouldn't even be a Saturday night card. This should be a Tuesday night ESPN at 7:00. The main event starts at 7, and the main the main card starts at 7. The main event starts at 9.
And we out of here by like 9:35.
Exactly.
Y'all have
this. What should be. This should not even be UFC 262. This should be UFC. Please
fight
watch
night,
this.
Fight night 57 live from the Bronx.
Man, but look, we still gonna tune in though, and we're gonna watch these fights, and we're gonna talk about this Michael Chandler versus Oliveira fight, because I feel like it's gonna be very interesting. I think we're gonna see some things that we want to see. Hopefully, we don't see some things we don't want to see, because I want to see Michael Chandler come out victorious so he can talk that talk, man. Because I feel like he got a great talk game, and the next fight after this, if he wins the belt, he's gonna promote the championship belt for the next fight very well, especially if it's, no matter who the opponent is, he's going to promote it very well, because he has that talk game, man. And it's going to be good for Bellator as well, because him coming from Bellator, and then how many fights would have been? 3 fights, and he was down to champion. Was it 2 fights?
He fought once, and then he's fighting for the championship.
So he only beat
Dan Hooker, I believe.
And he demolished
and the next fight's for the championship. Now, with the last 20 seconds, I do want to say this now. I get that we're super excited about that Nate Diaz, Leon Edwards fight, and it got moved a month later. But I need you to know that card is going to be good. I do not need a 5-round feature fight.
No.
They're going to maintain the fact that this fight's going to be 5 rounds. But they already have a main event. They already have a co-main event. It's going to be a feature fight, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be 5 rounds.
They need to stop that, man. They need to stop that.
I don't know about that. They need to stop that. I don't know about that.
They need to stop that.
Well, let's get on to that heavyweight division. Yeah.
But before we get on to the heavyweight division of who's got next, man, we got to talk about habits. Man, keep good habits 365 days a year. And if you want some of that gear, all you got to do is hit it up at habits365.com. If you need a 10% discount on your gear for Habits /Trash Talk BS, hit it up so you can get a 10% discount. And if you want your logo in the bottom right corner so everybody can see it so we can talk about it as well on the show, all you got to do is hit us up at
My feet smell like butt at gmail.com.
hey man, greatest email account ever made, dog. But who's got next, man? Because there's some talks out there, man, that you were right in your prediction about who's gonna be fighting for the next championship bout, man.
I told you.
You said, coming from the horse's mouth, you said that John Jones was gonna price himself out of this championship fight, which was gonna open the door up for Derrick Lewis.
I told you. Look, coming straight from the horse's mouth, talking straight to the horse's ass. I had to throw a little jab. But look, but listen. So, with that being said, this is the problem with negotiations. This is the problem with how the fighters don't really have a voice versus the UFC. This is the problem right here, because one fighter is saying this fight is big, I need to get paid. The company is saying, no, we're not going to do it. And there's always someone who is going to step up. And now we're not talking about like, let's just, like fighters that aren't in the UFC, that want to get in the UFC, that will take that opportunity to get a foot into the UFC. No, homie, you do what you got to do. That is perfectly fine. I'm saying this guy is the number one. He's not willing to take a back seat so that this could only be the fight that gets made, so that John Jones can get the money that he's asking for. He's going to undercut so he can get the fight. And it's always going to happen because it's not a unified voice. So that's what I'm saying. If John Jones asks for anything that the UFC don't want, they plug in the next fighter, they keep moving. And Derrick Lewis is willing to do that. If Derrick Lewis gets the belt, it's beneficial to him. I understand that. I totally understand that. But also, if you think about it like this, if Derrick Lewis kind of takes a step back and says, nah, pay that man John Jones his money.
Yeah.
And then John Jones gets his money. Well, what is it? Rising tide raises all ships. Maybe he can ask for more money. Maybe everybody can ask for more money. But the UFC don't want that. And they got these guys that are going to step in like Derrick Lewis will and take this fight. It's beneficial to Derrick Lewis, but it's not beneficial to everybody. Now, with that being said, now we already seen the fight. But what do you think is going to happen?
Man, I feel like it's going to be something new, man. This is not going to be the same fight we saw before. The fight we saw before was not a good fight at all for both parties in this fight. I feel like that Francis is more seasoned now, and his approach to his last fight was a little bit more patience in that fight. And I feel like it's going to be more of it's going to be a better performance by both parties. And when the Derrick Lewis interview with Ariel, I forgot I know his last name, but I'm not going to butcher it. He stated that this is going to be a fight to remember, a fight for everyone to watch, and he's coming in there to try to knock Francis out. And the biggest thing I like about these two fighters right here is they like to do the two things we talk about all the time. They like to throw them uppercuts and them bungalows, and they throw it with some hard behind it. So I'm tuning into this fight because I felt like that John Jones versus Francis was going to be something different, but I didn't know what I was going to get because John Jones doesn't throw as hard as a Derrick Lewis. So I didn't know if he has that knockout punch to knock out Francis. But I know that John Jones has that elite ground game, and he has some things that Francis probably has never seen because he was fighting at a lower weight. But I just didn't know what I was going to see in that fight. I know what I'm going to see in this fight. I'm going to see somebody get punched hard and often. And somebody's going to get knocked out in the first round. So I'm very excited about this fight, man. Plus, I'm a Derrick Lewis fan, man. My balls is hot. I'm a Derrick Lewis fan myself, man. I'm a Francis fan too because he's scary and I don't want to talk shit about him. And then he come to my house, beat shit out of me because I don't think I'm a last.
Hey, what was you saying? What's that you was saying? But hold on.
I'm a Derrick Lewis fan, man. I love Derrick Lewis, man.
Speaking of Derrick Lewis,
commentating, I like everything, man.
Speaking of Derrick Lewis, just kind of interject with Derrick Lewis, right? So we're a fan of Derrick Lewis. We're a fan of everything that he does, all this, that, and the other. Yes. But how much of a fan of Derrick Lewis is his demeanor, his talk. We actually, we like the dude. And how much is it his fighting style? Actually,
I like him for
separate
who he is. I don't like his fighting style per se.
take him out, and you've got what is it, the Alexander Volkov fight where he was losing like
He's like,
every
yeah.
minute of that fight until boom, that overhand, or
Yep.
a lot of other fights where he's not doing great or he gets taken down. And I really love the aspect of, like, if he decides he wants to get up, he's just gonna get up. But we always get the same like thing. He's like the Andy Ruiz of MMA, but he hasn't won the belt. Like, we really want to see him do good, but I don't think he's going to put that time or whatever. I know he's got back problems. That's fine. But we are not going to go out there and see a Derrick Lewis where we're like, oh, okay, did he just Francis Ngannou his career? No. I believe Francis Ngannou steamrolls him.
I don't know, man.
Is he gonna get hit by Francis Ngannou a whole bunch of times and then finally come back with one of his shots of his own? No. Francis Ngannou hits too hard.
We know Derrick Lewis can take a punch. He took many of them. We know he can take a punch, and we know he can get down. He can come back. So the biggest thing that we know in this fight that's not going to happen, we know that Francis will not take him to the ground. So that makes me feel better with Derrick Lewis in the stand-up game, because he has that one thing that I talked about before. He has that off switch. He has that right hand that can knock somebody out in this fight. Do I feel like Francis will win this fight? Yes. Do I want to see it? Maybe. But do I want Derrick Lewis to come in there and win this belt? Yes. I want to see it. I want to see the commentating after it. I want to see his interviews after. He is more of a character that I would like to see with the belt, because I like his talk game before and after the fight. Because he just don't give a damn. He just don't give a damn, and I love it. Francis is a guy that gives a damn, has a great backstory, but it is what it is. That's all I'm gonna say about that.
Okay. I'm excited to see the fight. And this one of the fights that we've seen before that I'm excited to see again. So
Yeah.
Bring it on. Let's do it. What else you got?
Man, in other news, man, all I gotta say right now is, man, hit that link up, habits365.com. All habits, great habits, 365 days a year. And if you're trying to get some of that gear like I got, if you want to stunt, because it's a habit, /trash talk BS, get you a 10% discount. And if you got any kind of promotions or sponsorship that you want at the bottom right corner, you can always hit us up at
My feet smell like butt at gmail.com.
Hey man, greatest email account ever made. I ain't got nothing more for tonight, man. You got anything else for the people, dog?
All I can say is it's been real.
It's always real, man.
It's been good.
It's good tonight.
But it ain't been real good.
Never that.
Look, we go come